Your host tonight. There we go. My name is Amber. I'm going to be your host tonight, and I invite you to get comfy, grab a cold or a warm beverage if it's 55 degrees like it is here in Madison, Wisconsin. Kick your feet up because we want to share with you about Trek travel and how you can have the active vacation of a lifetime with us. So let's kick her off. I am not on my own tonight. Joining me is my co-guide, Taryn, and you'll see Taryn a little bit later when we get into the trips that we are highlighting this evening. It's the best part of the whole event. So here are a few really quick Zoom tips so that you know how to participate on our platform tonight. First off, you've got a menu bar. It's a little black bar at the bottom of your screen. On this bar, you'll find your audio or your microphone button and your camera or your video button. And just a quick note, if you are only seeing my face right now and not also this beautiful image of Croatia, you'll just want to click over to the tab on the top of your screen that shows screen share. But if you see me and a picture, don't worry about it. You're in the right spot. One more thing to point out in your menu bar is the chat box. Here is where you'll be able to answer trivia questions tonight, but more importantly, you can ask us questions throughout the presentation, and we'll either respond right there in the chat virtually, or we can answer your questions out loud at the end of the event in our Q&A. And at this point, if I could ask everyone to go ahead and turn off their microphones and off their videos, I think everyone already is. That is fantastic and helpful, and we're going to get started with the presentation. So at Trek Travel, we begin every day of a Trek Travel trip with a route talk so that you have an idea, so that guests have an idea of where you're going to be going that day and what you can expect to see. So here is your route talk for tonight's event. We're going to start with who we are at Trek Travel and then move on to why you should choose to travel with us and what sets us apart from our competition. We will climb up to tonight's trip spotlights, which are Tuscany Countryside and the Tuscany and Cinque Terre hiking and walking tour. Then we'll descend down to discuss how to book a trip and finally finish off with a Q&A where we hope you'll ask anything that you'd like to know. Okay, let's get started. First, we want to tell you about Trek Travel and what we do. At Trek Travel, we believe in taking you on vacations that move you, both literally and figuratively. Trek Travel curates active vacations all over the world, and we are always scouting out new locations to take you. And it has been over 23 years of fun. And over these last 23 years, we've been winning some awards. We take a real pride in being voted one of the top vacation companies by our guests and our partners, including being voted top 10 by Travel and Leisure for 2025 World's Best Tour Operators. We work so hard to deserve these honors, and we're really, really proud of all of these accolades. Now, I want to tell you why you should choose to travel with us and what exactly we do to set ourselves apart from other tour operators. You might hear us call this at various points our secret sauce. And rather than telling you, I want to show you with some amazing videos and photos. We hope that you enjoy this video narrated and presented by our president, Tanya Burke, called Why Trek Travel.
Active travel is pure magic. You can hear, taste, see things in a different way and from a different perspective. I close my eyes and I can hear the sound of the cowbells in the Alps. I can taste the best tomatoes in the world in Italy, and I can see that pristine blue lake in Glacier National Park. Biking or hiking through an area allows you to get up close and personal to the place and the people. At Trek Travel, we have cycling trips for every type of traveler, from classic guided vacations in North America and Europe you can experience the best of a destination with our world-class guides. If you're an avid rider, we have trips that will test your legs, from experiencing the best of the pro cycling scene on our Tour de France trips to training for your next big race on our ride camps. Do you want to adventure off the beaten path? Our gravel bike tours are the perfect fit. They combine classic trek travel experience with miles of gravel roads across North America and Europe. For travelers looking to lace up their boots, our hiking and walking tours offer a variety of activity levels, from leisurely strolls in Ireland and Portugal to epic hikes in the French Alps and the Dolomites. All the elements of an incredible trip are fine-tuned and delivered with unparalleled hospitality by our awesome guides. They're focused on making sure we have a seamless and effortless experience for our guests and provide wow moments that you would never expect. From luxury vacations in Mallorca to leisurely riding e-bikes through Bryce and Zion National Parks, whether you're looking for big days in the saddle in Girona, hiking through historic villages in Italy, or planning a private getaway for you and your family or friends, our sole purpose is to make sure you have the best vacation you've ever had, and we look forward to you joining us on your next adventure.
I hope that video got you really excited to learn even more details about our trips. And we want to dive in right away with some details about the bikes that you'll ride on our trips, because we know you're here tonight because you love to ride your bike and you prefer to ride in style. That's why at Trek Travel, we offer some of the newest and best bikes in the industry on our cycling tours. It is truly what sets us apart from our competitors. We're talking about locally owned, designed, engineered, built, and tested Trek bikes right here in Wisconsin. I want to talk to you about some of the bikes that we offer on a majority of our trips. And you'll also see some names and images of regions where we have those bikes. We have them in many, many other regions as well. These are just a handful where you can find each of these specific styles. First off, we offer the Checkpoint on most of our gravel trips and the Damani SL7 road bike on most of our road trips. Now let's talk e-bike. The Verve Plus is offered on a lot of our trips, not including Avid trips and a few other specific trip styles. This is a bike that you're going to see right here in the top right of the screen. It's got that low step through with a geometry in terms of handlebars. It looks and feels a little bit more like a hybrid bike. And finally, we have the Damani Plus, which is offered on most of our gravel trips with a different sort of tire and a selection of our road trips. So this bike has a road bike design and is actually the only bike that also has an upgrade fee. The other bikes you see pictured here are included in the price of your trip. So if the idea of riding an e-bike on your trip is interesting to you, we highly recommend that you pop into your local Trek retailer. You can take one of these bikes for a spin, get a feel for it, get comfortable with the fit and the function before your trip begins. And I will say that I was just on the Scotland bike tour in August and I rode the Verve Plus. It was fantastic. I love riding e-bikes on Trek travel trips. You can just go further and see even more. All right, so here we are at our first trivia question of the night. We'd love to get some participation in the chat box. So go ahead and find your way to your menu bar and click chat and get your fingers ready, because our first question is, how many activity levels are offered on our trips? Is it A4, B3, C5, or D6? How many different activity levels? It's one of the ways that we categorize our trips. And if you're wondering what activity level you might fall into, we highly recommend you hop on our website to see if you can figure out your specific activity level. It just really helps you sort our trips and be sure to find the experience that is right for you. I see a bunch of folks coming in the chat. Almost everybody believes that it is A, and almost everybody is correct. It is A. We offer 4 different activity levels. I'm going to show you a little bit more about these in a moment. But all of our trips are rated on an activity level, scale of 1 to 4. 4 is the most challenging. And the best part is if you find a trip and you're looking at the activity levels, the best part is on a Trek travel trip, we offer you all sorts of flexibility. For example, on each day of your trip, you're going to have different route options. There might be a short route, a today's route, which is sort of like a standard in the middle, and then also an avid route for folks who want to add on even more distance, more climbing. And to further the options and further the flexibility you have, if, say, there might be a climb that just doesn't feel like it's the best fit for you that day, but you want to ride the rest of that route, you can always hop in the van for a little extra boost up that hill. So, your day, you decide, is how we run our trips at Trek Travel. So, one moment here to talk a little bit more about activity levels. Here's another look at what goes into setting these activity levels and exactly how we describe these. We look at distance of the trip, we look at terrain of the trip, and also potentially skill level. On some of our really avid trips, for example, we might have some very steep switchbacks, and we want to make sure that guests understand that they're going to need to have really fantastic bike handling skills for that trip. So, if you would like to learn more about our activity levels, hop on our website and you can see more specifics about mileage and climbing and length of ride and a lot more details about these levels. So, I also want to tell you a little bit about our trip styles, starting with road cycling. We have the most trips of this style by far. These are our trips that take you mostly through quiet roads, some bike paths depending on the trip, and the occasional shouldered road as well. For folks who want to get off the beaten path, we've got gravel cycling adventures. These trips are for guests who want to get away from traffic, be out more in nature, and also for folks who have some gravel riding or mountain biking experience. That's going to help you have a really great experience on these trips. Finally, the last trip style I want to mention is hiking and walking. This is the newest of our trip styles. These trips are packed with everything that makes Trek travel great: the best guides, luxury accommodations, expert itineraries, unmatched flexibility, and support from the moment you book to well after you depart. All delivered with what truly sets Trek travel apart, which is unparalleled hospitality, as Tanya mentioned in the video. So, just some real quick details about what's included and what's not included on your Trek travel trip. We're going to start with what is included. On the left-hand side of this slide, you'll see what's included on both styles of trips, both cycling and also hiking and walking. And on the right-hand side, you'll sort of see some extra things that are included for cycling, some extra things for hiking. So when you look at the left-hand column here, you've got hotel, guides and support, most meals. Also included is the transporting of you and your things, if your trip is going to be located at more than one hotel. As you dive into cycling trips specifically, bikes, gear, support, and routes are also all included. And then on the hiking and walking side of things, a couple pieces of equipment are also included. Some folks bring their own helmet, for example, or bring their own hiking poles, for example, but we do offer these things if you don't want to bring your own. All right, a list of what's not included. It is a much shorter list. The one item I want to draw your attention to is airfare and transportation. So Trek travel guests are responsible for getting themselves to and from their Trek travel trip. We don't have any trips where the flight is included at this time. Gratuity for guides is also not included. Going back to transportation, if you do feel like you would appreciate some assistance getting to and from your trip, maybe with flights or foreign country trains, right? A train in Italy or Spain or France. We do work with a travel services provider named Santa Barbara Travel Bureau. So if you would like assistance booking some of those additional transportation pieces, we would be happy to connect you. All right, open up your chat boxes because we've got one more trivia question tonight. And here it is. What percentage of Trek travel guests are solo travelers? Is it A, 30%, B, 5%, C, 85%, or D, 20%. By the way, we consider solo travelers the ultimate adventurers. You can choose a private room just for you, or you can choose to share a room with a new friend, meet another guest on the trip and share a room with them. But our trips are made for one or for many, and we promise a ton of fun no matter how you travel. So, I see in the chat box we've got a lot of, oh, it's more mixed this time. I see some A's and some D's mostly, and the A's have it again. About 1 in 3 guests on Trek travel trips are traveling solo, and I did this back in 2022. It was awesome. I did wonder if I was going to get on this trip and feel sort of alone the whole time, and that was not the case at all. I met awesome people. I felt included and rode with different groups of cyclists depending on the day. It was an amazing experience. But 1 in 3 customers, 1 in 3 Trek travel guests is in the same shoes as me, is on that trip traveling on their own. All right, now we are climbing up to the point that we've all been waiting for, the part of the event where we get to highlight some of our awesome trips. Tonight, I'm so excited that we get to share with you these 2 particular amazing trips, the Tuscany Countryside Bike Tour and the Tuscany and Cinque Terre Hiking and Walking Tour. So I'm going to pass it over to Taryn to share these amazing destinations with you.
Thank you, Amber. I am so excited, and thanks for starting us off. That was excellent. I am so excited to share these 2 amazing Tuscany/Cinque Terre tours. So welcome to our first one, which is Tuscany Countryside Bike Tour. Here we can traverse 2 of Italy's most scenic regions, Umbria and Tuscany. On this captivating Tuscany Countryside Bike Tour, you can pedal along serene country roads to uncover enchanting medieval towns, the vibrant culture and timeless traditions. We'll begin our adventure in Umbria, Italy's green heart. We'll cycle through rolling hills, vineyards, and olive groves. We'll ride through the countryside surrounding Montepulciano and immerse yourself in Tuscany's rich heritage, scenic beauty, and, of course, their warm hospitality. Riding in Umbria and southern Tuscany offers dream-like landscapes, and they have winding roads through gently rolling hills. They say every town is in the top of a rolling hill. And while we prioritize quiet, scenic routes, we do have a few brief stretches of traffic where there's sometimes some avoidable, traffic on the road. But we are absolutely certain that the local drivers are very familiar with cyclists, and they're generally very attentive to people on the road. We're going to be entering a really popular town called Pienza and Assisi. So this route takes you through the beautiful Valumbra, Umbria's largest and most prolific valley, awash vineyards and olive groves. And then we'll gear up for a rewarding climb to reach the hilltop town of Montefalco. It's synonymous with world-renowned Sagrantino wine. And then we'll enjoy the sweeping descent and head to Spello, a delightful village famous for being one of the most flowery towns in Italy. After your morning cappuccino the next day, you'll embark on a ride through countryside roads, riding past cultivated fields and olive groves that really just characterize the Umbrian landscape. Then our lunch destination today is San Felciano, an inviting village on the shore of the Trasimeno Lake, where you'll enjoy a casual lunch while we'll admire views of this idyllic lake. It's a hidden gem that really captivates with its beauty and rich history. You can tell from this picture. It's just so, so beautiful. Then prepare for a fantastic day ahead of you as we pedal along quiet country roads with unobstructed views of vast plowed and sown lands stretching over gentle hills that just seamlessly blend with the horizon. These captivating vistas are accentuated by the presence of rows of just these majestic cypress trees. The consistently rolling terrain leads you to this charming hilltop town, like I mentioned, of Pienza. Prepare to be mesmerized by breathtaking panoramas that resemble masterpiece paintings. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then after a day of riding, we'll shuttle you to Assisi to explore this cobbled streets of this medieval town on a delightful walking tour that ends at the celebrated Basilica of St. Francis. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's also the fascinating hilltop town of Cortona, a fairy tale village where the famous movie Under the Tuscan Sun was filmed. And it's attracting just a stream of international tourists, as you can tell from here. It's just really cool and awesome place to sit and kind of people watch. Then this evening, we'll raise a toast to our unforgettable Tuscany bike tour, tasting the exquisite wines and array of local specialties, creating a perfect finale for a remarkable Italian adventure. Now, if this sounds like an amazing destination and you want to spend time off the saddle, then let's head towards our second trip highlight because you're in for a real treat on this one. Our next trip is Tuscany and Cinque Terre hiking and walking tour. So if you're familiar with these two trips, we did have two separate tours. As of 2026, we are combining them so you get to see the best of both regions. So on this trip, you'll experience the best of Tuscany and the Ligurian Riviera on our hiking and walking tour. From Chianti's vineyard-covered hills to the colorful coastal trails of Cinque Terre and glamorous Portofino. We'll walk through rolling countrysides, medieval hilltop towns, you're seeing a trend here, and sun-drenched vineyards where wine tastings truly await at every turn. This sounds like a dream. The terrain in Chianti is composed of rolling hills featuring smooth gravel roads, some paved road sections. Then in Cinque Terre and Portofino, there's the Portofino National Park, where the terrain's very hilly and the hikes feature coastal single track trails with a few exposed sections. There's some steep vertical paths and centuries old staircases overlooking the sea, along with well-maintained inland paths. You get a whole variety of different types of terrain to hike on through here. Your first scenic hike is through the vineyards and the olive groves of Chianti. This is one of our guides and trip designers, Mafalda. If you've been on a trip, you probably know her beautiful face. She is lovely. And then today, a quick and convenient train ride takes us to Rio Maggiore, the southernmost village of Cinque Terre. From here, we'll walk the famous coastal paths to Manarola, a fishing village where pastel homes cling to the cliffs above the sea. I love this picture. I mean, I honestly don't think there's anything more beautiful in the whole wide world. I wish I could just live right there. Oh, then the journey continues along a trail that clings daringly to the hillside through terraced vineyards and olive groves to Cornelia, offering spectacular views of 5 villages. We'll enjoy the lunch of your choice at a local bistro, indulging in some fresh seafood specialties before exploring Cornelia's charming labyrinth of alleys. Avid hikers can extend their route to Vernazza, the pearl of Cinque Terre, with its vibrant harbor. Then we have a small village that's reachable only by sea or on foot, known for its beautiful Mediterranean setting and charm. There's a bronze statue of Christ known as the Christ of the Depths, protector of divers, and it stands at the bottom of the bay right here. We'll continue exploring the undulating terrain of Chianti with a scenic hike filled with sweeping views to Penzano, a small and lively hilltop town known for its artisan food and wine culture. That word is maybe the hardest word for me to say. Lunch today is a true highlight, hosted at Centuries Old Farmhouse. It's surrounded by vineyards and olive trees. It's beautiful. Then we'll begin a walk through the vines, followed by a visit to the wine cellars, where you'll learn about the estate's philosophy and winemaking process. Then on your last morning of the trip, we'll relish one more delicious cappuccino as you take in the breathtaking views from the breakfast room. Starting from the hotel, we'll take a final hike on a gentle slope through the olive groves to the charming village of San Rocco before bidding your guides farewell. It'll be a really sad day, but it'll be so, so fun to enjoy that whole trip and then have all that time to get to spend with all these wonderful people. So we hope you enjoyed learning about our trips from both the seat of a bicycle and hiking on 2 feet. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you, Amber, to let everyone know how they can book one of these amazing destinations.
I'm laughing that you got through Pienza and Montepulciano and then Artisan got you.
I can't say that word.
So funny. Montepulciano. You're like that one is so hard.
It
Um,
is. I should
thank you,
be, I'm
Taryn.
like half Italian at this point.
I know. I mean, what a accomplishment. There's a lot of wine in your blood then, so
In my
that would make
future,
sense.
hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. Um, cool. That was awesome. I've been to Cinque Terre and those pictures are real life. I mean, that is exactly what it looks like. It's just stunning sunsets. I have one in a frame from Cinque Terre. We stayed at Rio Maggiore. It was just stunning and amazing. So we hope that you loved hearing about these two trips. They are not the only trips that we have in Tuscany. They are not the only trips that we have in total, but we hope that you loved getting to dive into these two specific destinations tonight. So hopefully after all of that, we've gotten you excited about a cycling or hiking trip, and we want to just share some details about how to book. So you can hop on our website. We've got a lot more videos and pictures of these two destinations and then all of the other trips that we offer as well. Hop on our trip pages, do some browsing, check travel dates, all that good stuff. But most importantly, also on our trip pages on our website, we have details about travel logistics. Because maybe you're asking yourself, well, that sounds really great, but how in the world do I get to some of these amazing destinations, especially if they're, not in very large cities, which most of our trips are more out in the countryside where you can hike, you can cycle safely. We always recommend that you arrive at your trip at least one day before the trip starts. And when you are perusing our website, you can head to details about getting to and from your trip, or you can always feel free to give our trip consultants a call. They're happy to talk you through logistics and answer any questions that you have about that or any other aspects of Trek travel trips. We hope that you had a great time tonight. We're almost at the end of our time together. But if you enjoyed tonight's event, we hope that you come back again. On our website, under resources, you'll find a link to our events page. We host these events almost every single Wednesday evening of the year, and we would love to see you back again. We pick two different trips, two or three different trips to spotlight each week. So take a look at our schedule, see what other trips are coming up, and we hope that you return to maybe hear some details about other great destinations. And also, at the end of each event, we're going to send you a link tonight included. We'll send you a link to our YouTube channel where you can find the recording from tonight's event and also recordings from other events in the past as well. Speaking of events, every first Friday of the month, Trek Travel partners with Ruvi, a realistic indoor cycling app. And on that platform, we host group rides that are the same or very similar to routes that we actually ride on real Trek travel trips. And we host these group rides at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central the first Friday of the month. This next route that we'll be riding on October 3rd is actually one from our Classic Climbs of the Alps trip. It's a really amazing and challenging climb. If you don't already have a Ruvi account or you're not familiar, hop on their website. It's really easy to sign up for an account. And if you use our code Trek Travel 1M, as in mother, Trek Travel 1M, you'll get your first month free. Usually you can get a week free, but with that Trek Travel code, we can get you hooked up for an entire month to try it out and maybe even join that next ride we've got coming up on October 3rd. All right, so I just want to hit you right here with your next 4 action items. Step 1, top left here, be on the lookout for a recap email. We're going to send you with a link to our YouTube channel. You can check out tonight's event recording, watch it again, send it to your friends, your family, every person you know. We would be okay with that as well. Step 2, visit our website, look at other pictures of the Tuscany Countryside Bike Tour or the Tuscany and Cinque Terre hiking and walking tour, any of our other trips. Also, in the email that we send you tonight, I forgot to mention, we're going to send you a code for up to $200 off your next Trek travel trip. So be on the lookout for that. Step 3, give us a call. Our expert trip consultants are really excited to hear from you. We are standing by on the phones Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. And last but not least, get excited for your trip. Once you've booked a Trek travel trip, the anticipation, the preparing, the spending more time in the saddle is part of the fun. So, and you can also get a little bit of a head start on the fun by visiting your local Trek dealer, maybe taking for a test ride the bike that you've chosen to ride on your Trek travel trip, like the Verve Plus, Damani Plus, Checkpoint. You can also stock up on any gear essentials that you might need as you're preparing and then packing for your Trek travel trip. And I also wanted to mention just really briefly that we are expecting a price increase. So make sure and book as soon as possible to reserve the best prices and spots. A lot of our trips are selling really quickly right now. Customers are booking before prices go up. So book as soon as possible to make sure that you get the best prices and the best availability for your 2026 or maybe 2025 Trek travel trip. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that we stirred up some additional questions, maybe some trips, some excitement, some wanderlust. So if you've got questions, I see that there's a couple already coming through the chat box. If you got questions, go ahead and toss them in there and we're gonna be answering them. Taryn, what do we got? I'm just sort of starting to look over.
Yeah, hold on, I'm starting my video here. Have answered most of them, so hopefully people are seeing my responses. Some people were wondering about other trips, like other Italian trips that they are going on. And I will say we likely have highlighted the trip that you are interested in, unless it's one of our brand new trips. We've likely highlighted it in a past event. So when we send out the email tomorrow with the link to our YouTube channel, it'll show you all of our past events on there. So maybe you came tonight and you're actually interested in the Tuscany Bike Tour or the Tuscany Wine Country Bike Tour. I promise you we have an event on there for one of those 2 trips. So go ahead, search that YouTube channel and find one of our past events. And obviously you'll see probably the same beginning to the event. So you can fast forward through that part and get to just the trip spotlight. Just giving you a little background and, little pro tip. Pro
Pro
tip
tip.
there.
I'm so excited to see questions about the e-bikes in the
Mhm.
chat. Jamie, how did you know? We do have the Checkpoint Plus coming in 2026. We haven't officially emailed this out, which is why I didn't mention it tonight, why it's not in the PowerPoint. Secret, secret. But yeah, we're going to have
Insider
the
information.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. So excited. This bike is going to be a game changer for right now for 2025 trips. We've been using the Damani Plus as our gravel E option with just a different sort of tire to make you more comfortable and more confident on that uneven terrain. But yeah, the Checkpoint Plus is going to be a game changer for us. And Elizabeth also asked an e-bike question. She said, "Do you have trips for only road bikes? Any e-bikes?" Elizabeth, we have e-bikes on the great majority of our trips. I don't know the exact stat, but I would say 90% of our trips
Yeah.
offer at least
But our
one.
really avid trips don't typically have an e-bike option. Some occasionally do, just maybe the Damani Plus.
Yeah.
But
Like a classic climbs trip, level
mm-hmm.
4 trips, ride
Our
camps.
ride camps, yep.
Yeah, those would not have any e-bikes, but the great majority of the rest of our trips offer at least one style of e-bike.
Terry
Um,
wants to know what our favorite trip in Europe is.
it's like asking me to choose a favorite child, but
She has three, and trust me, she has a favorite. I'm just
I do
kidding.
have a favorite. I would never say it out loud, but Taryn knows. Um, I'm really partial to the Great Britain area, United Kingdom. So I've done the England coast to coast, and I just did the Scotland bike tour in August, and I love both of them. I would say the England coast to coast was my favorite among all of the Trek travel trips I've been on. But in Europe, other really popular trips are Tuscany, the Tuscany Countryside, or Tuscany Bike Tour, or Tuscany Wine Country. We have three different road trips in Tuscany. That's really popular. Portugal, Norway, Andalusia. What are some of the other big hitters, Taryn?
Provence,
Amsterdam,
Provence.
Provence. Yep.
Yeah, Costa Brava.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So those are some
Croatia,
of our.
Croatia. Someone just threw in the chat,
Yep.
Croatia. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
absolutely. We have three trips in Croatia now.
Yeah. And all the different
Yeah.
Croatia hiking, Croatia gravel, Croatia road.
Well, then we have four trips because we have two road. Wow,
Oh,
my
that's
brain.
right.
Yeah.
Istria. And then, yep.
Yep. And Dalmatian
Yeah.
coast.
Anthony asked about anything for my wife to do in Tuscany while I'm taking these epic rides. Well, there's no shortage of wine. Yeah,
Shopping,
Anthony, the great
hiking.
majority of Trek travel trips are going to be amazing experiences for non-riders. The great majority of them. So, when you call and talk to your trip consultants, ask, "Hey, I'm looking at this specific trip. Can you tell me what my non-rider travel partner would have to do while I'm, riding?" Because Anthony, your wife would join in for off-bike activities. So maybe a wine tasting or dinners and things like that, those cultural activities. It's just when you're on the bike, the guides would be able to offer her some different options like, great shopping here, or maybe some hiking there, or here's great places for wine tastings. So, yeah, talk to your trip consultant about what you're looking at, and they can tell you exactly what options she would have.
I just want to clarify for Elizabeth because I think we weren't very clear how we were saying what we were saying.
Hmm.
Yes, there are some trips where we don't offer e-bikes. Those would be the very avid trips and ride camps and things like that. So on many of those trips, there are no e-bikes. Occasionally, there's Damani Plus on some of those really avid trips, but for the great majority of our level 4 trips, no e-bikes are available. Just because usually it has more to do with like descending down large mountains in a 50-pound bike is not safe.
Yeah, that feels ill-advised.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think I'd opt for that.
Right.
Um, Kim asked about electronic shifting on the England coast to coast trip. We do have a different fleet of bikes that we use in Ireland, England, and Scotland. So at the moment, those bikes don't have electronic shifting. I'm not sure when we're going to be changing up that fleet of bikes. So unfortunately, I don't have a really specific date
Yeah.
or piece of information for you. Um, the cyclists that were on my trip, I was on an e-bike, so let me just put that out there. But the the other cyclists who were on road bikes didn't didn't complete. If you have a really strong preference, I think that would be one thing. But the cyclists didn't seem to really mind having non-electronic shifting. But yeah, we're not exactly sure when that fleet of bikes might change.
Yeah.
Ginger asked about the three Croatia trips, all different routes. So we have two Croatia trips that are road cycling, and they are
Hmm.
very different routes. The Croatia and Dalmatian coast is more water based.
Hmm.
There's yachts, there are catamaran. What are the boats?
Yeah, catamarans or whatever you
If I
call them.
say yachts, you're going to envision like a huge, but like private boats that take
We
you
don't
like
get on the
two.
water too much.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be like, "Where's my yacht?" Um, we when you spend time on some boats and you're on different islands and things, there's just a lot more water, a lot more ocean. Whereas the Croatia
Istria.
bike tour,
Yeah.
Croatia Istria bike tour is
Yeah.
more inland. Um, yeah, it's
Then one of our gravel trips is might have like some similar regions. I think that one's a little bit closer to Istria.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And so it might have some like similar region type things, but then you're going to get into the more gravelly type routes.
Yeah. Off
Yep.
the road.
Yep.
Michael says descending on an e-bike, not my favorite.
Neither mine.
I concur.
Yes, I think that, yeah, someone said Slovenia was amazing. That's another classic
Mm-hmm.
one we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions so far.
Croatia cruise.
I would die.
Ginger, maybe you saw our guides and our guests.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Awesome.
joining us, Michael. Have a great rest of your night.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no other questions, I mean, we will send you a follow-up email, so please reach out to us if something comes up in the meantime. Our trip consultant's happy to answer any questions. And yeah, we'll see you on the next event. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.